Hey everybody, my name is Jessica and I am an independent designer with Chalk Couture, and I am going to share with you today how I use the wood burning technique. It's chemical wood burning to create some awesome rustic Chalk Couture deer cutouts. Let me just share this over to Facebook and see if we can't have a little fun here, okay? So hi, my name is Jessica. You have me down here in my basement studio sharing with you today how to do the, I'm going to use these deer cutouts from Chalk Couture. Everything's linked in the video, but these are the deer cutouts. There's two. There's a doe and a buck in here. They are about 5.5 inches across by 8 inches high. The buck is taller than the doe. And then I'm going to use two different transfers. This is the Christmas deer transfer. There's like winter deer, and then there's different deer that I'm going to do on the other side, the doe and the buck. So this will be one side of the buck and the other side of the buck. And then the doe will be this side and this side. So what you'll need for this project, aside from these two transfers, the deer cutouts, a squeegee, you're going to need some DIY gel paste. Where did I put mine? I have it down here. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, so I already made this paste and it's yellow, okay? It's yellow because I put food coloring in it. Now the paste is ammonium chloride, a thickener called Thicket, and water. That's all that's in it. And then a couple drops of the food dye. So we're going to use this gel to create a chemical reaction with heat from my heat gun, which is not on right now, okay? But this particular heat gun, which is in, it's linked in the DIY gel recipe that I linked to in the description of the video. This heat gun has this tip on it that goes on it that helps direct the heat in a specific direction. So are you guys ready to get started? I'm very excited to show this to you today, and we're going to get started by opening up the deer cutout. I think this deer cutout is $14.99 retail, and you get the two deer in there. Now they do have a nice white finish. This is the doe. She's very pretty. And this is the buck. Now I did this yesterday on the doe and the buck with a different pattern. I did, this is the buck. You can see he's got real nice antlers. Now these are finished white and they're very smooth finish. Okay, but this is what we're going to work with today. So I'm going to start with, I think with the doe, one side of the doe. And so one side's going to be the Christmas words, and then the other side is going to be just the doe. And let's start with the doe side. Let's start with that side. So we're going to start with this side, okay? And we're going to wood burn this. Now, if you were going to wood burn one side and then use chalk paste on the other side or leave the other side white, you might have to paint it, because yesterday I did notice that I had some burn. So what you do with the transfer, on the back, I'm just going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to write, let me get down. Let me give you guys a different view so you'll see me both ways here. But I'm going to write on the back side of the transfer paper, I'm just going to write doe natural, because that's what she is here. That way I know I'm working with the doe. And this is my Chalk Couture fuzzing cloth, but if you don't have a fuzzing cloth from Chalk Couture, no big deal. You can use any linty towel. You want to kind of pick up a little bit of lint on this so that it doesn't get stuck too hard to the doe when you put her down. Now yesterday, I found the best way to do this is to flip the sticky side up, okay, and kind of match up the paws, the hooves on the deer to the bottom here, and then lay her down. So we're just going to match that up real nice, and then I'm going to lay her down, and she should line up pretty well when I flip her over. And yes, indeed, she does. So now you can see, you guys have my phone here, so you can see that she's lined up pretty well here. So now we're going to take the wood burning gel, which again is ammonium chloride, water. You can do it with just that, but the thicket, when you add the thicket to it, it turns it into this really nice gel. You can see here it's just like a nice yellow gel, and we're just going to lay it over the entire deer. Now all this spot that's white right now is going to get wood burned. So she is going to turn brown. Pretty much all of her will be brown except for the spots that are still green on her. Those will stay the lighter color. So they'll still burn a little, but they'll stay very light. It's just a light coat that we're doing, and we're just going to wipe off all the excess, just like that. And it's as easy as that. Now we're just going to peel that up, and we're going to let this sit for a couple minutes. This just has to sit for a couple minutes. I'm just going to stick my transfer over here so that I can wash it. I don't know if you can see on here, but this deer now, she has gel and then she has empty spaces. So anything that's the gel is going to burn, and then anything that's the empty spaces will not. So I'm just going to cover up my gel here for a minute and let you guys know. Chalk Couture is having a special this month. So if you want to join Chalk Couture and get a 40% discount on everything that you personally buy with a simple minimum of $100, 100 PV. It's a little more than $100, but it's 100 PV per quarter, PV standing for personal volume, and then you have a $20 a month commitment for that, and that gets you your website, and it gets you the Club Couture transfer every month shipped to you for free. So it's a good value. You're getting that transfer every month, that 8.5 by 11 transfer every month as part of that $20 fee. But that gets you 40% off of everything that you buy. So anything that I've linked in the comments, it would be 40% of that. So I don't pay full retail, obviously, where if you were going to make a purchase, you would pay that full retail. So she's been sitting here for a little while. I'm going to turn on my heat gun. Now this is a Seek 1 heat gun. It's an 1800 watt, and I have it turned up almost all the way on the heat here, so that my heat is almost, I can adjust the heat by turning this. I go all the way and then back it off just a little bit. And we're just going to turn this on. It's not too noisy, but I'm just going to turn it on, and we're going to start moving it over the deer real slowly. I move it back and forth. I don't want to burn any one area too much, but we're just going to kind of warm the whole deer up, warm her up all the way. Now, my surface is metal, so my surface is going to get hot. So I'm just really, really careful. But this does not take very long before it starts to burn. The gel will start to dry, and then it's going to start burning, and you'll see that happen. It's super, super cool how it happens. This gel is kind of amazing how quickly it works, but the longer you leave the heat on the gel, the darker it burns. So if you don't want it to be too dark, don't leave it for too long. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see, it's already starting to burn a little. And you can see I'm getting very close down to the wood because you really want to concentrate that heat. And here we go. This is like the coolest part ever. When you see this all starting to burn like this, it's really, really cool. Can you see that? Do I need to get in closer with my camera here? Let me see if I can get closer for you guys. Yeah, look at that. Can you see that now starting to burn? Yes. Oh, it's so pretty. I really think this is like, it's so fascinating to watch this happen. For real. This is a chemical burn. but it is burning the wood. I mean, it's really burning the wood. And it's leaving behind those nice spots there. And again, the longer you hold it there, the darker it will burn. So you kind of get to decide how dark you want it. I don't think you want to go too light because then you can't see the white space there. Okay, and my gun has a stand here, so I'm just going to put the stand down and let that be. Now, can you see? She's hot. It's very hot. But can you see how beautiful that turned out? Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that amazing how that turned out? Oh, she's so pretty. But this, I mean, this is a hot surface now. This is hot. She's hot. It is hot. But wow, it looks really pretty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to rub it off. And that's going to get any extra that didn't burn, any of my extra stuff off. No big deal. But wow, she's so pretty. So that is the dough. And you can see, here's the other side now. You can see that we started to get a little burn on her legs here also. But that's okay because we're going to wood burn this side as well. But there is our rustic deer side. So here she is, the rustic deer. Let me put this back here. This is the rustic deer, how pretty she ends up looking. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to do the same thing with the buck now. Actually, let's keep going with the deer. We're going to flip her over and we're going to do the other side. And the other side is going to be, because she's already warm, so we may as well finish with her. So the other side we're going to use, let me show you here, this transfer, which is going to have the reindeer names on it. So I'm just going to fuzz this over here real quick. Let me back out a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to fuzz the transfer here. And my table's not too warm. I used this one yesterday. The other one is the first time I've used it. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to put her down. Again, I'm going to line up the hooves with the pieces that I'm looking for here. I think I want it over just a little here. Right there, maybe. Like that. And then we're going to set her down. She should be lined up pretty well here. Her legs are off a little. Just going to fix that just a little on the legs. Here, let's try that again. So we are live doing this. We're going to try that again. Sometimes we don't get it on the first try, and that is a-okay. Because the nice thing about these transfers, they've got a little stick to them. If you don't like how it turned out, pick it up and reposition it. For real. Okay. All right, I think I got it this time, the way I want it. Close enough. So we are going to really stick these down now. Make sure it's all over her. Make sure everything is stuck down. Now I have a Cricut too, so this is my burnishing tool for Cricut, and I'm just gonna make sure that that's down. Now I'm gonna take my gel again. Just going to put it all over her. And again, this is the dough. You don't need much. A little bit of this gel goes a really long way. That's like the really cool thing about it is I bought all the things to do this, and including the heat gun, it was like $54 on Amazon, including the heat gun. But I have so much material, I will be wood burning for a long time before I need to buy anything else, which is super, super cool. So I can do this as a project with you guys too. Again, we've got that done. So now we're just gonna peel that up and let that sit. I can see where all the words are. So on this one, the words were what is covered in the gel. So the words are going to be the part that that burns, and everything else will stay a lighter color. So only the words will get real dark, and everything else will stay that lighter color, which is super, super pretty. I can show you how this looks on the deer that I did yesterday. Now the deer I did yesterday, which are in my shop, I'm going to put you guys back here. The deer I did yesterday are in my shop now. The shop is linked below, but I did them yesterday, and here's the buck. He is with the words on the one side, and then I did blue snowflakes on the other side. And doesn't that look cool? And then the doe is reversed. She has more white than blue, and then more not burned than darker burned. So that's how she turned out. Now those two are in my shop already. I have them listed for $19.99 in my shop if you want to purchase those two deer. But the deer that we're making right now, obviously they're not in the shop yet because we just started making them. So here is how, I'm going to zoom in so you guys could really see. We are going to go ahead and start to burn this. So I'm going to turn my heat gun back on. And we're going to just get her warmed up here. And we'll start with her head this time. And remember, this one, just the words should be darker. Oh yeah. Guys, I love this technique so much. It comes out so super cool. Yes. Are you seeing it turn? Are you seeing it transform? Super, super cool. So this one, both sides are going to have this rustic burned look to them. It's going to be a very rustic piece, more so than the one I did yesterday, because both sides are going to be rustic. And I'm going to do the same thing with the buck that I'm doing with the doe. So you'll get the same, wow, the same look from it. But it comes out so cool, guys. Like, it's amazing to watch it change right in front of your eyes. So cool. Now, the reason the stencils work so well is because they're silk screen. And so it allows the gel to just come right through. Yes, look at that. The gel just comes right through, and it turns it so amazing. Like, you get such great detail on it. And there we go. There we go. What do you think? Oh man, are you guys in love with this as much as I am? That's it. That's all we have to do to her. And she is done. Sorry, I just put my hand right in front of that, but I think she looks so pretty. She gets this like lightly brown, which a deer is brown anyway. She gets this nice light brown, right? And then the edges are all white. And then her back is, look how pretty she is. Well, you can't see that. That's one side. And then we're white, and then there's the other side. Oh, she's gorgeous. I cannot wait to take pictures of her for my website and to show you all the absolute beautiful finished project that she is. She is so pretty. So pretty. Look at that. Like, she's gorgeous. If you have rustic decor, like, this is perfect for you. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to work with the book. Now my table's hot, so I'm going to put my cloth down because this table is really hot. So the buck, we're going to put Buck Natural on the back. It's the buck. And that's exactly what a buck looks like, right? So anything that's white is going to burn. Anything that is green is not. So you'll see there's not very many places that are not going to burn. So the buck is going to have a more solid burned look like this one does. Okay, and when we do the words are going to look just like this, where most of him is going to be dark on both sides. So the doe is going to be lighter on both sides, and the buck darker on both sides. Although the doe turned out dark also, didn't she? On the natural side. They come out so pretty. So here we go. We're going to do the buck on the natural part. Okay, so I'm fuzzing my cloth so it doesn't stick to the wood when I go to peel it up. Fuzzing it really well. Okay. And then my table's still kind of warm. So I'm going to put this down sticky side up on my cloth, which I use a lot. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure he's lined up the right way here. And then I'm going to line up the hooves. To where I'm going to get it just right there. And then I'm going to press him down. Okay? And when I flip him over, hey, look at that. We're pretty perfect. So now I'm just going to burnish. Again, this is my Cricut tool. If you don't have a Cricut tool, it's not the end of the world. But we're going to get this all burnished down. And then we're going to use our gel. Back to the gel. Scoop some out with your squeegee. And just kind of, put it all over. This is the ammonium chloride, and it just has a thickener. This is completely food safe too. So if you wanted to burn a cutting board, if you wanted to use any Chalk Couture design for sure, any design that you get at the craft store, any kind of stencil, you can make it with your Cricut or your Silhouette if you have one of those at home. This is just really cool stuff. I have in the blog post that I linked to, it has the recipe for this gel, the burning gel, so that you can make it yourself. But it's very, very simple, very affordable. And if you already have a heat gun, it's got to be one that gets to at least 1,000 watts so that it gets hot enough. If you have a heat gun, you can do this. A hair dryer is not going to work. Okay, it just does not get hot enough. Your hair dryer is just not going to get hot enough. Let me close that up. I'm going to peel this off. And I have to wash these all off, so I'm just sticking them to the side of my table right now so that I can wash them. And then obviously I'm not going to put this on with the heat gun. I'm not going to do that. So it's got a good spot. Now I can see the spots where the gel is and where the gel isn't. But that's really, really cool, right? I'm really in love with this method. I hope you guys are too. I think it's just the coolest thing. I'm hoping that didn't mess up. If my audio is messed up, guys, I'm really sorry. I just realized I had audio going from 2 places there. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm having fun doing this, and I like sharing things with you like this, and hopefully you're watching along with me. All right, are we ready to give this one a go? We've let it sit on the wood for a minute here. I'm gonna turn my my heat gun back on. Be careful not to touch the tip of your heat gun, guys. I mean, this should be kind of a no-brainer. It gets really hot. It gets really, really hot. You don't want to touch the tip, but mine has 2 fan speeds. I turn it on high. So here we go. We're gonna start running it over the deer. I'm just gonna run it over all the places. Let me zoom in here for you guys so you can see it. Oh, yeah, you can see where the gel is really good here, can't you? So you can see it drying. The heat gun is kind of drying out the gel a little bit right now before it's going to start burning it. So that's not a bad thing to get it dried out a little bit first before we start the burning process. Oh look, you can see it already starting to burn on the back end of the deer here. I get so excited when I see this because it's such a cool process and it happens so fast. I'm amazed at how fast it turns from, you know, from just being a gel to being like this beautiful burn on the wood. It's so pretty. Look at that. Look at how he's coming together already. He's beautiful. Get his spots up here. And come on down this other leg. His other hind leg here. Now I'm getting really close down here to my wood. I guess you maybe don't have to go quite that close, but I don't know, I feel like, ooh, look at that nice dark burn there. I feel like when you get close like that, you get like a nice controlled heat on that, like more controlled. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too close. I don't know. But I like to make it like little circles like that. See this hook here. You just want it to have like this beautiful, you know, rustic look to it. Wow. No, seriously, I can't get over how pretty this turns out. Like, oh, so amazing. Watching it happen, it's a little surreal, you know, like, wow, did I just do that? Little Steve Urkel moment. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Oh, so pretty. And then you have the ability to go back and say, is there anywhere that I need it to be a little darker? Because with the chemical wood burn like this, you can go back and darken things up a little by adding a little more heat to certain areas. But I think he's pretty perfect just the way he is right there. What do you all think? So I'm going to take my cloth and rub him down and get whatever extra stuff is on him off. This is not gonna wipe off, guys. This is wood burned on there. So I mean, you can wash this whatever. I mean, it's wood, but it's not gonna rub off with water. Okay, now he's pretty warm. Are we ready to do the other side while he's warm? So you could see the heat really comes through, and I don't know if it's because I put it on a metal surface, so the metal is warming up there, but we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, so I'm just gonna, my surface is hot. I'm gonna take my cloth put my, I used this yesterday, so it already says reindeer buck words. And this is going to be my holiday words for him. Okay, so on this one for him, the words, ooh, he's kind of warm. The words are going to be lighter than everything else. Everything else is going to be dark, and then the words will be light. So he's like opposite of what the doe was, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there we have him. Now, because of that, if I wanted to, I could take my white paint, and I may do this on his antlers here. I think I'm going to take my white acrylic paint and a paintbrush, and I'm just going to kind of go over this top here real quick, because I really want that to show up. Like, I want that to look really cool. So I'm just going to kind of go over that, and hopefully this won't affect, won't bubble up under the heat or anything. So now I'm going to have to wash that brush, right? But now I'm going to, before I put this transfer down, back down, I'm going to use the heat gun on low heat and just dry that paint. So I'm turning my heat all the way down, and I'm just going to dry that paint. I'm being really careful not to point it towards my transfer at all, because I don't want it to melt my transfer. There we go. Okay. I'm going to turn that heat back up so I don't forget that part. I'm going to put the transfer back down. And then I'm going to use my Cricut burnishing tool. Make sure my words are down real good. Then it's time to put that gel back on, guys. This is like, tell me this is not super fun how this works out. Super, super fun. So let's get that gel on there really nice. Nice coat of gel. Nice coat of gel, because we want it to change, right? We want it to burn those places where it's white right now. Make them nice and dark, and leave my green pieces with the words nice and light. Ideally, that's how that's going to work. So we're just going to scrape off our excess, especially off the green parts of my transfer here. Chalk Couture calls these transfers, but they are silk screens, guys. They are silk screens with a sticky back. So the sticky back is really cool because it helps you make sure that you're positioned right, and then you don't need all of the frames and stuff that silk screeners use. And let me just tell you this. I've tried making my own silk screens, and it is not easy. You have to have like just the right kind of situation. You have to do lots of trial and error to get the right, peel that up. Lots of trial and error to get the right light and the right, oh goodness, it's sticking a little bit. There we go. The right, what am I trying to say? Everything has to be just right when you do it. Your exposure has to be just right. Everything. So it's tricky. I'm telling you, like, it is not an easy thing to do your own silk screens. So if you think that you can do your own silk screens like I did, think again, because it's really not that easy. So here we have the deer. Okay, you can see, here he is. Can you see? You can see all the words on him really good there, actually, can't you? I can. So I can see all the pieces where it's definitely a little bit yellowed there with that food dye from the burning. And the words are nice and white there, and I think we're gonna have a good go. I want to show you guys, well, I showed you the deer that I did like a little trial with this, and when I was giving it a go, and I made this kitchen rules door tag, It's just like really simple. I'm not selling this, but like this is what it can do. Can you see all that? Like look how detailed it gets. It's pretty cool how it goes. So yeah, so I think we're ready to start burning this deer. Ready to burn this deer? Let's burn this deer. Get our gun warmed up. So this starts out by drying out the gel. I'm just going to get that gel nice and dried out. And our gun is definitely heating up. It's definitely getting hot there. Okay, here we go. We're going to start to see the change now. I love the rustic, like farmhouse hunting kind of a look that this gives this. So this would be something that if your husband is not like really into super feminine decor, I bet even he would like this. Because these just come out so awesome when they're done. Like they're so amazing. Okay, we're starting to get our burn going. Oh wow. I'm like, every time, I'm amazed. It's so cool. I feel like a little kid every time it happens. Like every time you start to see everything come up, you're like, whoa, that's so awesome. Oh yeah. Wow, I think I like this side better. And I really like the other side. That is it. That's how easy that is. So amazing. So we're gonna go back in and just rub off whatever gel we missed. What do you guys think? Do you love this as much as I do? Oh man, it's so cool. So cool. Okay, so here's our finished project. We have the dough. There she is, and there he is. And you see them good? And then when we flip it around, we have the buck and the doe. Like, super, super cool, guys. Super, super cool. So that's how you wood burn these awesome Chalk Couture pieces, and you end up with these beautiful finished pieces that have, like, I mean, you could do anything to them. There's nothing extra on them, right? I am going to go ahead and just seal them, just because I don't have to, but I'm going to. And they're still white on the edges, but they're so beautiful. Like, I really love how these turned out. So these are going to be available in my shop. They'll be $19.99. Thanks for this actual set. So thanks for hopping on and watching with me and creating with me today. And I will see you guys on the next DIY with Jessica. And I'll figure